So the first one, y'all, is understanding kids and teens. All right, first one. What's something you wish more parents really understood about their kids and teens?
I feel like more parents should understand that their teens and their kids really do want connection, but they want to be heard and understood by their parents, and they want to know that their parents are not judging them. That's one of the things I think they want. Mm-hmm.
I think, kind of building on what Melvia said, I think parents need to understand kids aren't doing it at you, right? When you're looking at a behavior or you're looking at an attitude, they're not doing it at you. They're working on learning how to better communicate what they're feeling, what they need, and trying to learn how to do it independently. It's a process. They're not doing it at you.
To build on that, I think sometimes they don't know, the kid themselves, they don't know what they need. And so they're trying in their way, with the skills, with everything they have, trying to have that connection, have that communication, and they just need the support as they're learning how to do that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right, next one. You work with kids and teens. What do they wish their parents knew about them? I think for me, one thing that I hear often is, kids tell me, I wish my mom or my dad or my grandma didn't make it about them. When I'm struggling, they're like, well, after all the sacrifices we made for you, after everything we've done for you, you're so ungrateful. And it's like, I'm depressed, Grandma, it's not about you. And so I feel like that's one of the things I hear all the time. Why do they make it about them? Because then the focus shifts to the parent or the caregiver, and it takes it off of the teenager or the kid.
And I think, too, that most children and teenagers are trying their best. I think parents and caregivers view it as like, why aren't you doing good enough? Why aren't you doing better? And the child and the teenager sitting there like, I am doing my absolute best. This is what my best looks like right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important to validate that this is the kid's first time being a kid. This is their first time being 15. This is their first time being a freshman. This is their first time doing whatever. So just like us parenting for the first time, they're figuring it out for the first time. And that is genuinely, usually their best effort.
Yes. And I think parents need to remember this is their first time doing it too, right? So this is your first time having a 15-year-old. And maybe if you've had several kids, but it's your first time parenting this 15-year-old, right? Because everybody is different. Everyone has their different personality. You're in a different stage of parenting, different stage of life. So, okay. Awesome. Next one. Why won't my teens talk to me about their feelings?
Wow. Because they want to feel validated. And sometimes they don't feel like parents are empathizing with them. They don't feel like you believe them. They don't feel like they have that open space to be able to just come out with it. And so they hold back and they don't share as much as they could.
You know, one time my youngest son went through something, right? And so when he was talking to me about it, I asked him, I said, well, son, why didn't you tell me? And it broke my heart to hear him tell me, I didn't want you to look at me differently. And so I think kids genuinely, even when their behavior does not communicate it, they're saying, I want your approval. I want you to be proud of me, and I don't want to let you down.
I feel that also sometimes when kids don't open up to their parents, it's not them being sneaky. It's not them, personally attacking them, but it is a form of communication. It is the way they're communicating. And by not telling you, they're communicating that I can't come to you, through the strong times or the hard times. I can come to you when it's a good moment and you're going to clap and cheer for me. But those moments when I'm struggling, it's really hard to come to you. And so we want to make sure that we're able to allow that platform for our kids to come to us in those moments, good and bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's helping the parents learn how to support their child when they come to them and not dismiss it like, well, when I was your age, I had XYZ or this happened, but be able to meet them where they're at and we set aside, well, maybe I did do all this when I was younger, but this child is a different 15-year-old than I was. It's a different society. It's a different world. It's a different everything. And helping parents still be able to relate to their child, but giving grace to both sides.
I think that's so important because it is different, right? And when you make that comparison, it's no longer a team because now you're competing. And so I think it's really, really important what you said.
All right, next. What is the best way to increase my connection with my teen?
I think I call it the power of pause, right? I think in the moment when we're addressing a behavior, especially a negative behavior, right, a strong behavior, it's instinctively to kind of want to, shout or yell. But I think the power of pause is so important. We ask our kids to do all these things, like think, but in the moment we're not doing the same. And so I think as a parent, that power of pause is so important for us to just pause and think. What is it that our child needs right now? Not so much what was the goal or what was it that was important in that moment, but what is it that our child needs in that moment? I think that's important.
I think also too, as they get older, we have to focus less on techniques and tools and strategies and just be present. It's more about the relationship. And it's just in such small, subtle ways. Whenever I'm coaching parents, I always find that they're like, okay, well, what do I do? Just like when they were 3 or 5. I'm like, there is no tool or strategy. It's just your presence, it's your being. And I hung out with my 12 and 15-year-old yesterday. We went to the mall and we just hung out. We made fun of Crocs and can't believe that they're popular now when they weren't several years ago. We, ate food. Like, it was just really cool, just hanging out. And then when we came home, we played with Play-Doh. They wanted to get Play-Doh at the store, and we just played with Play-Doh while I did some arts and crafts, right? Like, it's just about those moments that I think we forget, that they just want your presence and your connection. And that's where the real change happens.
Yeah. And just listening. Just listening, just be. Again, love that power pause. So just listening to them. You don't have to always have something to say. Just listen, just be, as you said.
We talk too much as parents.
Yes.
We really do.
And everything doesn't have to be a teachable moment. It can be going to the mall. It can be Play-Doh. It can be, hey, let's go get a coffee. Let's try this new store. And not trying to, okay, well, you need to, and then you should, and why didn't you? But just, hey, I love you. I miss you. I want to hang out with you.
Well, and we can define teachable moments, right? Teachable moments isn't always scolding or reprimand or whatnot. Teachable moments can be filled with fun and connection. It doesn't always have to have a consequence or a punishment attached to it.
And I think it's important to remember that it may not look the way you think, right? Like, it may not be you sitting at the kitchen table having this long, elaborate thing. It might be on the way to school. You say something, I say something, and it happens organically in the middle of doing something else. Like, it's not always a planned event.
Why is my child well behaved at school, but consistently acting out at home? I know we all hear this a bunch, right? Okay, why is that?
Some of it could be that they're masking. So at school, there's the teachers, there's peer pressure, they like that environment, and so it's really easy. Maybe they love school, maybe they're really good at what they do, but then when they get home, they're exhausted. There is no more filter left, and it could be that home is their safe place. And so then they're like, oh, okay, well, I can spill everything I've been holding onto you.
I like to think of those moments as like walking that tightrope. They're walking this tightrope all day long, and they're trying to get to the end of it, and then they come home and it's like they just kind of jump off and they're like, yippee, but I also look at the other side of school. What does school provide? It provides routine, it provides a schedule, it provides direction. And so it doesn't mean that parents have to carry that same strategy at home, but maybe slowly introduce some of those things so that they can eventually have a longer period of good behavior.
I see the flip side too. I see that many times they are not as well behaved at home because home is boring, and home is filled with lessons and lectures and what you did wrong, and what you need to do is, and did you clean your room? Yeah, let's have coffee, but you're going to do your laundry afterwards. And I feel like so then they can't just be at home. So I also find that it's because it's not fun. You tell them to take out their earbuds and then you're lecturing them. So why wouldn't they want to shut you out?
Yeah. So then as parents, we need to take a checkup from the neck up and realize that sometimes there's things we're doing, right? Or not.
Yes.
That drives that behavior. And so let's just be fair about it. And it's okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent. No. It just means that you need to settle down, take a little time to just realize.
Right, and I think that's a good point, Melvia, because just because you have to check yourself doesn't mean you bask in shame and guilt. Don't do that. That's not helpful.